today we're going to be doing our top 5 board games. We get a lot of people who come into the cafe and are always asking us if we could play something, what would we play? So we've kind of split them into categories.
Yes.
We've got 5 different categories, otherwise it just makes it a bit easier then, doesn't it? So what categories have we got? We've got big box strategy, or kind of big box game that takes like a while to play.
Yeah.
We have each got a classic kind of retro style game.
Yeah.
We've got a card game. Then these two are a little bit kind of mixed a bit. We've got like a party game kind of style quiz game of ones that you can play with like a group or with like a family.
Yeah,
or something
like some kind of. I ruined that for you.
No, it's okay. You're fine. And then finally we've got like something like quite literally you could just pick up within like 30 seconds or a minute and just kind of play it straight away. So first up, number 1, what are we going for first? It was
we're going for the easy to learn.
like 30-second one.
Yeah.
Pick it up. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Okay. So do you want to go on yours first?
I have picked Sushi Dice. It's a really quick to learn, fast paced dice rolling game. Works really well with 2 people sat opposite each other. There's like little sushi cards that you put between you that have symbols on that you must match when you roll the dice. There's a bell involved. People love a bell.
People do love a bell.
It's just a really great, quick, frantic game.
Yeah, and it is like people who come into the cafe and they don't usually play board games.
It's a great one to just pick up and give it to them. They love it.
It's really simple to explain, really quick to pick up. People love it, and it's the type of game that they just play forever as well. People just keep playing.
Just keep going, roll the dice.
Which leads us on perfectly to my choice, really, Cobra Port, which is I think fairly new out. I think it's only about a year or so old. And again, just something that's really quick and simple to learn. It plays well with 2, but it scales up really well. So I think how many does it play up to?
I think 6 or 8.
6 people play this, but I think it's manic when you've got 6 people playing.
It is
it's a bit crazy.
very good when you have a large group. It's very similar to this in that it is frantic.
Yeah.
But this can be more violent.
So essentially, I'm going to open this one as well because it looks beautiful. So you've got all these kind of like beautiful little tiles, like dominoes essentially, with little symbols on them, and then you've got like 2 dice. And you're essentially just rolling the dice, and then it's the first person. I love the kind of theme to it. It's like you're a cat ninja, so literally using your 2 fingers and you're just kind of grabbing first person to grab a tile, and you have to get 6 of them, and then you can grab each other's tiles and stuff like that when the dice rolls.
Yeah, there's the option to steal.
Yeah, it's just really fun, really simple, and it's actually really solid and kind of good to look at too. I think I played this once. I think the first time I played it, actually, I ended up kind of flat on the top of the table wrestling with someone.
We have marks in a table over there where people have ran their hands down the wood.
Yeah, so that's great. So okay, first one out of the way. I think that's a good solid first round there.
Yeah.
Round 2, what were we saying? Card games? Bing! Okay, there's a slight difference in size here. That's the first thing we're going to note.
Yeah, mine's a deck builder.
I think you've slightly cheated with your card game, if I'm honest with you.
It still involves cards.
It does. I mean,
it's a card game.
Yeah, but I'm going to go on about mine first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, lovely little packet. Mine's a love letter, by the way, in case you can't read that. Lovely little packet for it, and it's really, really simple. It's essentially just one small deck of cards, and it plays through really, really quickly. You've got you only have like 1 card in your hand, and then you kind of picking one up and then playing one. There's a limited number. I think there's 8 different cards, and each one does something ever so slightly different. It seems really simple at first, but I think the more you play it, especially if you're playing it with like 3 or 4 people, it kind of there is some kind of really lovely kind of strategy to it.
Oh yeah,
because of the different mix of cards. And at the beginning, you kind of don't want the princess, which is the kind of card you can't get rid of. And then by the end, you do want the princess, and it just plays through lovely. Poppy, your turn.
So I've picked Dominion. This is one of the first games, like new board games, I played.
Oh, you see, on that. We'll come on to that later with one of my choices, which is why it's one of my favourites.
Yeah, it kind of holds that with me, I think. I'd never even heard of a deck building game, and...
Don't get it out. I thought you were going to get it out then. It's just cards and cards
and
cards. Just cards everywhere. Essentially, you just start with a small hand, don't you? I guess.
Yeah. You start with cards and coin cards, and then you must...
Cards and coins. Coin cards. I love it. Go on.
Essentially, you must use your your cards that are worth value to purchase new cards and build up your deck.
And then your deck gets bigger, and then the whole thing gets bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, people are obsessed with this game. People love it, and I just don't get it. I just don't see the appeal. I'm sure I'm going to get all
it's so
kinds
satisfying
of stick for that.
when you play one card, which then leads you to play another, and then suddenly you've played 8 cards, and they're all out in front of you, and you've absolutely smashed it. That's
okay, that's fair enough.
That's
I mean, that's
what
the
I
perfect
love,
way of saying
is
it,
when you can
isn't
just
it?
keep getting at those cards and keep
Okay.
going, and you've just got the perfect little deck, and it's just really satisfying.
Let's move on. Yeah, that's number 2. Number 3 is our, what is it?
It's our party game.
Party game.
Yes.
Ding. Perfect. Do you want to go first with this one?
Yeah, I'll go first. I picked Codenames, another game which I played very early on in my kind of board game life, hobby-ish.
I love it.
This is the original Codenames. They do now have the kind of duet version.
Loads.
It's like a Disney
There's a
version,
picture
I
one.
think. Yeah, the picture one.
Which is actually I prefer. I think the picture one. You don't like it, do you?
I don't really like it because I'm not very good at interpreting
I'm more visual.
things. Yeah. So I really like this game. It's one that I've played a lot.
Again, it's another one of those games, isn't it, where first time you play it through, it just seems
yeah, it
kind
can
of
be a
messes
bit.
with your head, doesn't
It
it?
can be a bit overwhelming, and there's quite a lot to think about, and you might not do very well, which might put some people off because, like, essentially you're trying to link words together with one word. So you need to make a connection between several words to then give a clue to your team.
Because you've got to be the first person to finish, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think some people find that very hard and might only have a clue for 1 or 2 words.
You could literally sit there whilst someone is spending like 15 or 20 minutes just thinking of one word. It is such a modern classic in terms of a party game.
Oh yeah.
I think it's right up there with certainly in the top 5 kind of party games you can get, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to move on to mine, which is Colour Brain by Big Potato Games, who we love. I'd probably say, are the kind of current...
The best makers of modern party
They're
games.
kind of the masters of kind of modern party games. And Colour Brain is just such a simple concept, like a spin on a quiz game. You essentially get a set of cards which are all different colours, and then there's quiz questions. So it might say, what colour is an American taxi? And then on the back of that is the answer, which you don't see, and then you have your colours. You take out which colour you think is right, put it face down so no one can see. Once everyone's decided, you turn it over. If everyone gets it right, no one gets a point. If someone gets it wrong, everyone who gets it right gets a point. Dead simple. And the beauty of it is that there's ones where it might say like the colours of the French flag, so it's not just one colour.
Yeah, it can be several.
Yeah, and then you're...
But you might not know how many.
Exactly, so you're kind of left thinking, oh, it's 2 right, it's 3 right. There's so many cards in here as well, so you can play this for ages. So yeah. Big huge fans of this. Big huge fans of this. Okay, on to our next one.
Category is our classic.
Yes,
our
retro.
old
So and these, I think these are probably a bit left field, which is good.
I don't think many people would know either of these.
Possibly with yours, but maybe not my one.
No,
Let's
both
get
of
them
them are great.
Okay, so this is our retro classic. Oh, boom. So, interesting choices.
Yeah.
Quarto and deflection. Oh, I mean, should we talk about mine first?
Yeah.
So we picked it up from a charity shop, because I do love retro games. I just kind of go around trying to find like Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs, Ghost Castle, all those style games, all the old MB and Waddington games, and we found this and picked it up, just thinking, I just love the artwork for a start with the kid on the front, just fabulous. But actually, when we played it was brilliant.
So good.
If you ever find a copy of this, just go and pick it up. Essentially, you just have the different colour counters that you place in the top, and then you can move each one of these lines left or right, and as you're moving them left or right, they're falling down into the different layers. And then, but you can also move the bucket as well, kind of forwards and backwards, and you try and get your counters in the holes in the bucket that have the kind of highest value,
the highest scoring.
There's actually a higher strategy element to it than it actually looks.
Yeah.
So I would want, if you ever see this game in a charity shop, you will not be disappointed by spending probably what is in most charity shops like £1. Your turn.
So I have picked Quarter, which is a lovely old 2-player game. We found this in a charity shop as well.
But that, unlike Deflection, that one is it's a classic. People know Quarter.
Well, I hadn't heard of it until I played it, and I absolutely love it. It is such a nicely made game. It has 16 wooden pieces, and they're all really wonderfully kind of carved pieces.
Nice solid, aren't they?
Yeah, really nicely made game. The idea is to put the pieces on this board
On the circles.
in a 4x4 grid. The pieces are in different colours, sizes and shapes, and you must make a row of any
Characteristic, isn't it?
any characteristic that match each other. So it might be that they're all dark pieces, or they're all circular, they're all
Or tall,
short,
yeah.
they're all tall. There's quite a lot of things to think about. You always have to be trying to work out in your head what all the pieces share.
You really have to think about your moves.
Yeah.
Which comes on to where we messed up massively when we were playing this for 6 months.
You're meant to pick a piece and give that to your opponent to place.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that you had to give it to someone else
Yeah,
to place.
we were literally just picking
we were
any
just
piece,
picking
weren't we?
our own and placing it.
Yeah.
But that makes the whole thing even more.
It was tough enough, wasn't it, when we
Yeah.
were playing it that way? But the idea now that you are picking it, giving it to someone. Well, I've played it a couple of times with the new rule, and it messes with your head.
I don't know how I could play it.
Yeah, well, essentially what you're doing is you're picking a piece for somebody, and you're kind of essentially a lot of the time towards the end of the game when it gets really complicated, you're giving someone a piece and you're saying, "Here you go." I've seen a space on there where you could make a massive mistake.
Yeah.
So put that down, but also you don't want to give someone a piece where they could
It's
complete
so
a
high
four.
risk
So
then.
yeah, it does turn it into such a more kind of complex game than it already was. Final one.
Final one.
So this is the big one. So this is our big box strategy game. So this is a game that you could play maybe with a kind of big group of people and maybe make a night of if you played once, twice.
Definitely. Yeah.
Or it could essentially just swallow up a whole night or a whole kind of 3 or 4 hours. You ready?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. And boom. Great games.
I feel that with both of these, we both like these equally.
Yeah, totally.
So it isn't like this is my favourite, that's Cliff's favourite. We both like these games.
Do you want to
a
go
lot.
first?
Yes.
It's not like we're being swallowed up by games here. It's great.
I love it.
Go on.
So I've picked Time Stories. This is the original Time Stories that are expansions, but we come back to this one.
Yeah.
So this is a game which I guess is a kind of, what would you call it, where you have a deck of cards in a certain order and you play through it.
It kind of feels like a choose your own adventure kind of style game.
It is a bit like that. And like you'll have a board and cards will come out and they'll set a scene and you must work your way around it to discover items, speak to people.
And discover new scenes as the deck progresses.
Yeah, and so you're kind of travelling around the space, I suppose. It's not really a board.
It lends the kind of theme of it lends heavily from the kind of theme of Assassin's Creed. I think it's kind of borrowed, the video game where you're in the future and there's maybe an issue or a problem in the past, and so you're being sent into the past to then kind of maybe change history. It's just lovely. The pieces are lovely. The board's lovely. It is impossible to get it right first time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of, when you look through the instructions and stuff, it pretty much says that. It pretty much says you're going to have to play this 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but that's also what kind of makes it more fun, is that you can go back and try and find different things or try and take an alternative. And
because it's been a while since we've played this, and I think I'm quite excited to actually, even though I've played maybe 3/4 of that scenario that we played, the original scenario, I'm quite excited to go back into it and do it all again and discover it again and try and get it right.
But it's a very versatile game in that it's more of a base, and then you can kind of add these stories on and
beautiful. So now on to my one, which I adore because it brought me back to board games.
Yeah, well, yes, same with me.
Yeah, and this was probably the first board game I played since I was younger. I just as soon as I played it, I just fell in love with it. So it's Betrayal at House on the Hill. And I know a lot of people don't like this game, and a lot of people don't like this game because some of the scenarios in it just don't work, some of the rules in it don't quite work.
It can be a little hit or miss.
Yeah, if you're someone who is very kind of precise over your rules, very, you might not enjoy it as much. It's as much about the journey and the story. I think this game, you're exploring a mansion which is kind of laying out tiles as you go, and then you're picking up items, events are happening, high drama. Eventually someone fails the haunt roll, and then there's just so much content in this in terms of kind of scenarios at the end. That person then becomes essentially like the traitor or the baddie.
Most of the time. Sometimes the house itself is the bad guy.
The heroes have a booklet, the traitor has a booklet, and then you go off into separate rooms, and there's different kind of conditions for how to win and lose, and then that kind of creates its own story and its own drama, and I kind of love that. And I love that every single time I've played this game, I have a 100% unique experience.
Yeah, it's always
that's what I love about board games. So I think that's a pretty solid collection of games. What would you say if you had to pick one out of all 5 of your choices? Which one do you think you would choose just as your top game?
Ooh,
I've just sprung that on you there, haven't I?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would choose Betrayal.
Yeah.
Because
I'd also choose that.
You can't choose one of mine. You have to choose one of yours.
I'd always go for a game that I could replay and replay. Dominion. Or Quarter.
You have to pick one. You're only allowed to pick one.
Dominion then.
Imagine you're on a desert island and you have to only take one game.
Dominion. I'll take Dominion.
Fabulous. Okay. So I mean, that's pretty much it. That's our top 5 games each. So pick them up or come into the cafe, come and play them. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and make sure you find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also we do some gaming on Twitch TV. And we'll see you soon. Wait, I have to do you again. Go.
I didn't talk about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have chosen Sushi Dice, which is a great player.
It's a great player. Come on, babe.
You spent 20 minutes trying to do
but that was the proper introduction one. This is just a bit more casual, just relaxing. You're one of those ladies that used to dress up in games, so she did a lot of this then, and like, it's a refrigerator.